My name is Colette. I'm an artist from the Netherlands. I lived in Berlin since 2016 and I've been at STATTLAB since 2018. Yeah, I make paper collages, I make screen prints and paper pulp sculptures, so it's kind of a mix of different things. And most important are the colors for me and the texture, so that's things that are really present in all three areas of my work. And here at STATTLAB I do mainly screen printing. I studied fashion in the Netherlands actually, and then I moved to London to do a master's degree in fashion as well. Then I worked in fashion for quite some years. I had really cool jobs, but I somehow realized it wasn't really my world and my industry, and I decided to quit. And then I was in London without a job, and I thought, well, that's not going to work. So my sister was living in Berlin, and she said, well, why don't you come to Berlin for a while, see what you want to do. And I did, and I was planning to just be here for a few months, but that's now over 5 years ago, and I'm still here, and I really love it. So I'll be sticking around. Well, I actually had the opportunity to do an artist residency, and that kind of got me into making art. Wasn't exactly the plan, but I just went with it. And this was in Arizona, and I made paper collages of the landscape. And then I was selling these collages, and it was really nice and great, but somehow I wanted to be able to print editions of them, so I wouldn't just sell them as unique artworks. And I was at an opening of a gallery in Kreuzberg called White Grid Gallery, they are focused on printing. They only do print artists. And then I was introduced to someone who's a member here at STATTLAB, and I decided to give it a go and have a membership here. I really like that there's so many people from different backgrounds at STATTLAB and that work on different disciplines and not just work on their own thing and go home, but there's really this community feeling, and we work together on projects, collaborations, or we help each other out with advice or skills, and it's just so nice because most of the time I work on my own in my studio, and here is a space where we can have interaction and share ideas. For me, it's quite important that art is accessible for very different people, and usually one-off art pieces are just really expensive because it takes a lot of time to make, and because they're unique, the value is automatically higher, and I don't really like this, but somehow I also have to charge a lot for unique pieces. But what I love about screen printing is that you can print 5 or 20 or 100 or I don't know, however many you like, and this makes the price automatically lower, and it just makes it accessible for a much broader range of people, I really think that's important. I have some ideas to start doing that. Not quite there yet, but ideally I would just like everyone to have access to art wherever they can. I have my own website with an online shop since a few months, and that's going really well. And I also sell at a concept store / gallery in Amsterdam. They sell my paper collages, my screen prints, and also the paper pulp sculptures that I do. And I'm hoping to find a few different places in other cities or countries as well, maybe. Yeah, I have been working on these prints for months now because, well, as you can see, they have so many layers and so many colors, and each layer is printed separately, so it takes a really long time to actually get to this stage because for each color you need to prepare a separate screen and mix the colors, and this all takes quite long. So luckily today I actually managed to finish 3 of them, which feels like quite an achievement after all these months. And yeah, I cut these all out, these shapes out of paper, so I don't use a computer, and it's all quite spontaneous and intuitive, and I don't plan these beforehand, so I start off with one layer. I just kind of go with something that I feel like, and then as I've printed one layer, I then decide what's going to be next, and I usually don't know how it will turn out before I printed it, so it's always a surprise. Many times it goes wrong, but that's part of my process. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot kind of have to go in the bin, because if I start off with 30, after 7 layers of printing, every layer something will have gone wrong, and I end up with 10 or 20 in the end. But that's okay. It's like kind of how I get to the final stage. I live in Kreuzberg, so not really close by the lab here. But I quite like that because it gives me a good reason to leave Kreuzberg every now and then. Otherwise, I stay there too much. And I always like arriving in Wedding because it feels still very spacious, and it's both busy and quiet, and it's got a lot of different cultures and atmospheres mixed as well, and there's a lot going on, but you can always find some quiet areas.